Fred Boafo. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Bernard.
What a week. It's been a very, very busy one. All kinds of stories.
Week of scandal.
I'm telling you, from the
scandal.
Looking for individual one, intermediary 5 to excavators.
Yes.
I'm sure there will be something that will break before tomorrow.
Oh, yes. Certainly.
I tell you.
Certainly.
Anyway.
To suspected coronavirus, that one too happened in. Well, let me take you to the front page of the Daily Graphic. And it does lead with coronavirus.
Yes.
No coronavirus in Ghana. Noguchi tests confirm. Expedite action on road projects. Road minister urges contracts. Stop using building permits to defraud citizens. Local government head warns assembly staff.
The Ghanaian Times says looming disaster. Daboase water treatment plant in danger as Galamsey activities pollute River Pra. GWCL rations water to residents of Amenfi East area.
85%.
9 suspected coronavirus cases prove negative. That's the Noguchi Institute there. An alleged school plot accused appeals for medical attention at Kolebu.
Front page of the Daily Guide. Chaliba Daily Guide to what is this?
Which one?
Fear and panic grips Kolebu over Chinese Ebola.
Which one is your problem?
The Chinese Ebola, no?
Well, I think they just want to get it for people to understand what it is.
It is not Chinese Ebola.
Well, that's not the name. That's why it's in quote.
But still.
When we got Ebola, it was seen as an African disease. So his point is that this is coming from China. And it's as scary as Ebola.
Oh, Charlie, those kids away.
Yeah.
24 helps Ghana to get $174 million from World Bank. Also on the front page of the paper. EC's new register appropriate, says a committee. NDC avoids Mahama Airbus scandal.
The Chronicle says, Chia, Amadou can do Foko. Oh, NDC boasts at press conference.
Serious?
But no, this is the Chronicle.
Since last year.
Since last year.
Chia Amadou can do Foko.
Is it the Chronicle that did who kwa?
NDC boasts at
Yes,
press
and
conference.
then
And then they did Nyati girl.
And then they did the other one. Wabom free.
Wow. So this one is Chia.
Yes. Amadou can't do Foko.
Wow.
NDC boasts at press conference.
Amazing.
Hot debate on Pualugu Dam project shifted to Tuesday. Zongo Development Fund to invest 50 million cedis in infrastructure projects. NCA trial, open your defense before surgery, court tells accused. And on page 14 it says the Nigerian link to intermediary 5.
Hey!
Charlie.
And we didn't read it? Front page of the Daily Statesman, Bernard. Provide level playing field for all. Kufuor cautions NPP over impending primaries. This matter won't go away. Talo to axe a third of its workforce.
Oh.
Yeah, Bernard, you know things have not been going well for Talo for some time now. We used GSA to test fertilizers after Craig was compromised. Head of Cocoa Board investigations tells court.
The new Weekend Crusading Guide says group pummels NDC over new voter register as it backs EC decision. Trouble looms at Ayensu Starch Factory. Court dismisses Sani Dara's case against Anas, slaps 10,000 CD cost against ex-GFA Director of Comms, and GOC fails to disclose 813,000 Gold Coast 2018 travel grants to government.
Front page of the BNFT. Drop in NPL should keep credit growth high, according to Moody's. BOG's FX strategy to keep cedi stable this year. Cocoa Board puts a stop to weighing fraud with use of electronic scales in October. And in health, the coronavirus outbreak will derail Xi Jinping's dreams of a Chinese century.
All right. The Finder also has a take on the coronavirus. It says urgent steps to safeguard nation's borders underway. GPHA commissions 3 new tugboats to improve turnaround time of vessels. No judgment debt to result due to Unipass deal GRA, and 9 suspected coronavirus cases test negative. Health Minister urges public to remain calm.
The Gold Street business leads with
Cocoa farmers to begin receiving LID from October 1. Legislation to ensure this being prepared. And US trade delegation seeks partnerships in Ghana. And 2020 Eurobond offers crucial public debt refinancing options.
moving online. CitiNewsroom.com. Government's Galamsey fight was a sham. This is NDC Sami Jemfi. Also, Frimpong Boating's integrity intact, according to Babinga Samoa, over mixing excavators. Meanwhile, John Boydu says government will dissolve the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining very soon, while he denies having a hand in the appearance of the disappearance of excavators. Other stories: 9 suspected cases of coronavirus reported in Ghana, according to the Health Ministry. Meanwhile, if you go to other stories, if you go to citybusinessnews.com, government to hold crucial meeting with Neoplan Ghana over company's struggles. Meanwhile, Imani Des, Trade Minister, to speak on Unipass single window system, and 2020 census slated for June 28. Exercise to be undertaken in 2 weeks. Let's move on to my journal online. Malicious panic hits Kolebu as doctors flee over suspected coronavirus case. Meanwhile, Christian Council backs calls for Citi to build consensus on the new voters register. And suspected coronavirus patients at Kolebu test negative. So that's quite heartwarming for a lot of people. And Canadian businessman burned $1 million to avoid paying ex-wife child support.
Hey.
Some of these stories coming from abroad. Very, very interesting indeed. BBC says anger erupts after Wuhan whistleblower doctor dies. The doctor who initially blew the whistle over this condition has died in hospital. Let's start with the details in the local papers here.
Yes, let's start with the Ghanaian Times. And we've been talking about Galamsey excavators and all of that. So there's a looming disaster at the Daboase water treatment plant. It's in danger as Galamsey activities pollute River Pra, forcing the GWCL to ration water to people of the Amenfi East area. And the story reads, the effect of illegal mining activities, Galamsey, on water supply in the Wassa Amenfi East district of the Western region is worsening the contamination of the Pra river. Since December last year, the GWCL has been compelled to ration water to residents in the areas since the river had become brownish and muddy, posing a threat to the Daboase water treatment plant and increasing cost of water production. Now, this was disclosed by Mr. Vincent Opokuware Daku. He made this known when he had some journalists come around, and he's called on government for urgent action to be taken to halt illegal mining activities to safeguard the country's water system from further pollution. So the story gives details as to how much they are producing, how much they are losing in terms of, the deficit and all of that. And there's a picture of him addressing journalists.
Well, there's a political angle to this on page 20 of the Daily Graphic. The NDC has waded in there and accusing the government of working against the Galamsey fight. The National Democratic Congress has accused the government of sabotaging efforts to address the menace of illegal mining, popularly called Galamsey, in the country. According to the party, the recent alleged disappearance of about 500 excavators and other machinery seized from Galamsey operators by the Operation Vanguard team, the task force set up to fight illegal mining, was not only an embarrassment to the government, but a testament to the government's failure to stop Galamsey. Now, according to Sami Jemfi, who addressed the press conference, Operation Vanguard and the Interministerial Committee on Legal Mining were calculated schemes by the government to drive out Galamseyers from business for government officials to take over.
Meanwhile, there's an interesting one from the General Secretary of MPP. Government to dissolve Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining soon. The General Secretary of the governing MPP, John Boydu, has hinted that government will, in the coming days, dissolve the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, known as IMSIM. According to him, this has become necessary following the successful completion of the committee's mandate. The announcement comes at a time when the chairman of the committee, who doubles as Minister for Environment, Professor Kwemfon Boateng, has been under pressure over the shocking disappearance of excavators and other equipment seized from some illegal mining sites in the country. In an interview on Asempa FM, Mr. Boydu said, Cabinet has already considered a decision that will see the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources assume its former role and coordinate the activities of small-scale miners in the country. Now, in the same interview, Mr. Boydu denies having a hand in the disappearance of excavators because the video circulating allegedly showing his driver trying to bribe some police or something like that on this Galamsey matter. The General Secretary of MPP has denied allegations linking him to the disappearance of some excavators and other equipment seized from illegal miners in Ghana. The suspended first vice chairman of MPP in the Central Region, Horace Ekousu, who has become the center of the controversy, has been captured in a viral video allegedly claiming that he, together with Mr. Boydu, tasked by the Minister for Environment, Professor Kwemfon Boateng, to use the seized excavators to mine in various concessions to raise money for the party. But responding to the claims, Mr. John Boydu distanced himself from the claim, insisting that although he met the two officials regarding a community mining project, he has never received money from anyone or engaged in any illegal deal. So the issue there, you have it. Of course, before Sami Jemfi spoke, ranking member of the Mines and Energy Committee in Parliament, Adam Mutawakil, called for the arrest of Professor Kwemfon Boateng for his alleged role in the disappearance of the excavator.
Okay, let me take you into construction now. There's a lot happening in that space, especially on roads, and I'm staying with the daily graphic. Expedite action on road projects. That's on page 13 and page 20 of the.
It's coming from our terminate.
I'll terminate. Yeah, but this time he's very happy.
Terminator.
Yeah, he's very happy. If you read the story, he's
What
happy.
did he say?
He said the Minister of Roads and Highways, Mr. Kwesi Makwata, has urged road contractors to expedite action on the projects they are undertaking in various parts of the country.
Is it?
He said the government will in the next 2 weeks release the last installment of money owed road contractors to boost their capacity to meet their project timelines. Because this year is a critical year for us as a government, because we declared that this is a year of roads. We are ready to support contractors with what they need to do their work. So according to the paper on the tour, they inspected ongoing work at the Tema Motorway interchange, the 7.5 kilometer dual carriage Teshi Link Road, the Pokwasi interchange, and the 31 kilometer Kwafukrum Apedra Road on the Accra Kumasi Highway in the eastern region. Now, when you go to the back page of the same paper, government releases 10 million Ghana cedis for compensation on the Pokwasi interchange project.
Okay.
Now, the government has released 10 million Ghana cedis for the payment of compensation for critical structures to facilitate the effective execution of the Pokwasi interchange project in the Ghana West municipality of the Greater Accra region. The resident engineer of Associated Consultants Limited, the consulting firm for the project, Mr. Kwabna Bimpong, who disclosed this to the graphics, said the company received the final 75% of the money in December 2019 after the initial release of 2.5 million Ghana cedis. Everything is going to team.
The roads issue will come back strong. Nathan, back to health.
Yes, let's do coronavirus. And the Ghanaian Times and the Finder both have those stories. So the Ghanaian Times says Ghana has not recorded any coronavirus case as tests conducted on 9 suspected cases by the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research so far have all proven negative.
Okay.
According to the Health Ministry, these cases include those of the 2 foreign nationals who reported to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital on Wednesday with some suspicious symptoms. The ministry and the Ghana Health Service disclosed these in a statement issued yesterday to give info on the status of the 2019 NCOV disease at both the national and global level. So
that's the Ghanaian Times.
yes,
What about the Finder?
Finder says a total of 9 suspected cases of coronavirus in Ghana have all tested negative. Now, that's according to the health minister, Mr. Kweku Ajimamene. So the Finder story goes on to segment, it details treatment centers, the various actions that have been triggered, sensitization and training of healthcare workers. But the Ghanaian Times has an important detail I feel people should know. Now, Dr. Asari, Daniel Asari, who's CEO of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, said something very interesting. He says, quote, "The advantage the nation and other African countries has is that we have a high temperature and the virus cannot survive in 30 degrees Celsius weather.
Okay.
But China, America, and Europe and other countries who were having issues with the virus have low temperatures due to the winter season."
Oh, okay. Now let me give you another angle to this story.
I also
Maljo
have a
Online
few.
says that malicious panic hits Kolebu as
Daily
doctors
Guide has
flee
that story.
over the story. So let's get that one.
Yeah, on page 3 of Daily Guide, it says that before the results were released by Noguchi yesterday, there was fear and panic among both health personnel at the hospital and the public, mostly due to uncertainty of the outcome of the test. Doctors and nurses were seen vacating the accident and emergency center where the patients suspected to be carrying the virus were being quarantined. But the chief executive officer of the hospital, Dr. Daniel Asari, in an interview with the media after the results were released, said there is no need for fear and panic. Now, they also have another angle from the airport. It says that, meanwhile, the national coordinator for port health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Dennis Lai, said port health officers isolated one traveler who was showing symptoms of the virus at the Kotoka International Airport. He said the person, after going through the screening, was kept in isolation for about 6 hours whilst tests were conducted. Now, also, they have the evacuation angle. It says Ghanaian students in Wuhan, China, where the virus originated from, are calling on the government to evacuate them immediately as the death toll of the deadly coronavirus rises. According to them, the city of Wuhan is in lockdown, making it difficult for them to get access to basic necessities.
You know, there are so many Ghanaian students in China, and there are lots of them sending us messages asking that they want to leave because most universities have been closed because of this. Now, if you go globally, I'll come back to Ghana. Death of Wuhan doctor sparks outpouring of anger. His name is Li Wenliang. The death of a Chinese doctor who tried to warn about the coronavirus outbreak has sparked an unprecedented level of public anger and grief in China. Li Wenliang died after contracting the virus himself while treating patients. Last December, he sent a message to fellow medics warning of a virus he thought looked like SARS, another deadly coronavirus. Instead, he was told by police to stop making false comments and was investigated for spreading rumors. Can you imagine? News of his death was met with intense outpouring of grief on Chinese social media site Weibo, but this quickly turned into anger. There had already been accusations against the government of downplaying the severity of the virus and initially trying to keep it a secret. Dr. Li's death has fueled this further and triggered a conversation about the lack of freedom of speech in China. Now, if you go to China itself, two of their papers are reporting coronavirus doctor's death sparks probe as 73 new fatalities reported. This is the South China Morning Post. It says that China reported 73 new deaths from coronavirus and 3,143 new cases on Thursday. Hubei province reported 69 new deaths and confirmed new cases of 2,447. And then, the doctor died at age 34.
Oh.
So he's a really young guy. Oh. And then the editorial, China faces dilemma as it tries to get back to work amid outbreak fears. And they show cities, most of who are deserted, including even Beijing, where only social workers and a few people are moving around. It's a really serious situation in the world's largest country.
I heard somebody from the Committee on Foreign Affairs saying Ghana would do the needful. I wanted to find out what the needful was. What does he mean by needful?
Yeah, because the students are saying that look,
a lot of things.
The university is not working. Shops
are closed.
Are closed. You can't buy food. They probably will allow you to do 1 hour of shopping or something. And I don't know how much supplies they have. So we need to desperately, and China is a large country. It's a huge country.
And they're saying what is taking a toll is the stress and anxiety.
Yeah. Now, so they just want to leave and come to Ghana. When things normalize, they go back. All right.
Let me take you to the Daily Statesman. Let me tell you about this tallow business that is happening. According to the Statesman, Tallow Oil plans to cut a third of its staff to slash its administration cost by a fifth, or around $20 million. A source with direct knowledge of the matter has said, after weak output in Ghana, delays in East Africa, and lower than hoped for oil quality in Guyana. The move will shrink Tallow, which industry sources told Reuters is looking to sell its Kenya projects, once vaunted as a growth engine for the group, to a workforce of around 650 people, and come alongside pay and hiring freezes, the source said. This will allow Tallow to cut its annual net administration costs by around a fifth to $80 million, which across Tallow's projects, including cost to its partners, equates to $100 million less administration spending, the source said. Now, a spokesperson for Tallow confirmed a consultation process which precedes any job cuts had begun.
They didn't even have enough people employed. Now they are going to cut a third. Now, Neoplan is also in the news, citybusinessnews.com. The government is to hold crucial meeting with Neoplan Ghana over company struggles. The story says MD of Neoplan, George Nasser, has told City Business News that government will engage shareholders of the company today, Friday the 7th of February, to discuss a revival strategy for the struggling company. Neoplan announced a planned shutdown in January due to lack of contracts and increasing losses. A government intervention, however, delayed the decision. Speaking to City Business News, George Nasser said he's hopeful the scheduled meeting with the government today would yield positive results.
Talking about state entities struggling, the new weekend crusading guy says trouble looms at Ayensu Starch as farmers workers demonstrate against management over poor state of the factory. So demonstrating farmers and workers of Ayensu Starch factory in Ewutu Bojanse are calling on government to take back the 70% share of the factory which was sold to investors. According to the demonstrators, the factory has not seen any major facelift since it was sold to Joseph Siama Japan, chairman of Jospon Group of Companies. The leader of the group, who doubles as the accounts officer of the factory, Yao Foria Sante, indicated that the company had refused to pay farmers who supplied products to the company, thus making it difficult for production. The group again explained that workers had also not been paid for over 18 months, causing the company to be stagnant. According to him, the company owes Electricity Company of Ghana an amount of 715,000. And Ghana Water Company 180,000, and because of that they had been disconnected from the national grid.
All right, let's move to
let me take you to some business stories. Cocoa Board puts a stop to weighing fraud with use of electronic scales in October. To address the age-long concern of cocoa farmers regarding weighing scale adjustment fraud allegedly perpetrated by some cocoa purchasing clerks, the Ghana Cocoa Board will from October only allow the use of calibrated electronic weighing scales. Deputy CEO in charge of operations, Dr. Emmanuel Opoku, has said. According to Dr. Opoku, Cocoa Board has taken serious note of this worrying issue of weighing fraud, believed to be taking place at the points of sale for dried cocoa beans at some buying centers and depots. And he says we have taken up the matter to procure non-adjustable electronic scales, so they have no excuse to cheat farmers in terms of the bag's weight.
Speaking of issues of missing things, there's missing excavators. There's also missing tricycles. Now there's an update from government. Now Pius Enamajide, who is the Deputy Information Minister, is saying that the Northern Development Authority actually sold the 400 missing tricycles. So the story said it has emerged that there were 400 missing tricycles that were perceived to have been stolen from the premises of the Northern Development Authority were actually sold to some Ghanaians. The tricycles were reportedly stolen from the office in Tamale in October last year. According to the report, the tricycles were transported to Accra and distributed to some members of the Kandahar Boys, a pro-MPP vigilante group. But speaking to Citi News on the development, Deputy Information Minister Pius Hajide maintained that the tricycles were sold by the Northern Development Authority. Here's a quote: "These tricycles were sold to beneficiaries within the 5 northern regions. It is possible that the internal communications and accounting processes at the authority may have been faulty and information may not have readily been made available to some of the senior officials. But the information which is out at the moment is that these tricycles were sold, some on hire purchase arrangements." Now, the former CEO of NDA, Majid Harun, early last year notified the police that about 400 tricycles had gone missing. Now, the CEO has told the police that the thing is lost, but the minister said the thing was sold by the same NDA.
He said the communication didn't go well.
Yeah, but how can you sell? How can something be sold and the CEO will not know?
Bernard, we have heard.
Meanwhile, the CID has been asked to investigate the circumstances under which the tricycles went missing. The CID requested that some persons be released to assist the investigation of the tricycles. The investigation followed a letter filed by the then acting CEO, Dr. Harun, chronicling how the tricycles were allegedly stolen. Right? But the minister is now telling us that they were officially sold. So I don't know who did the official selling. Anyway, let's wrap up with a few more.
If you go to the 3rd page of the Chronicle, it says, Chia! Amidu can't do Foku.
Okay.
So, story by Maxwell Ofori. And the NDC says the special prosecutor, Martin Alamisi Bans Kaiser Amidu, may not waste his time to investigate the Airbus saga referred to him by the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. The president has instructed the office of the special prosecutor to investigate the Ghanaian top official who was allegedly bribed by Airbus between 2009 and 2015 in the now famous Airbus military aircraft scandal. Addressing a news conference in Accra yesterday, the NDC's communications officer, Sami Jemfi, expressed doubts over Mr. Amidu moving to probe the issue. And he said, quote, "Who are we to advise erudite Martin Amidu on Article 284 of the 1992 Constitution? He's a very astute constitutional lawyer. I know he understands the law. I don't even know whether he thinks that it is even necessary to conduct investigations into this matter, knowing that he knows about the transaction. But that is solely a discretionary matter for him." End quote.
All right.
Yeah, so let me give you 2 quick headlines. One from Cocoa Board on the case, the court case, Opuni court case. And then President Kufuor has waded into this MPP primary business. So let me give you the Cocoa Board updates quickly. Okay. Dr. Yaredwan Puma, chair of the body that investigated the anomaly surrounding the purchase of large volumes of Litovich foliar fertilizer from Agriculture Ghana Limited, yesterday told the Accra High Court that they had to rely on the Ghana Standards Authority to conduct tests on the fertilizer after the Cocoa Research Institute was implicated and potentially compromised in the case. He said normally Cocoa Board would depend on CRIC to test fertilizers and agrochemicals, after which this report would then be relied upon to make decisions. However, he said this was not the case. In this situation, since CRIC was implicated, samples were sent through Yoko to the GSA for testing. He said while answering questions under cross-examination as a witness for the state in the ongoing prosecution of Dr. Stephen Kwabno Puni, Cocoa Board's former chief executive. Now, Kufuor calls for level playing field in impending MPP primaries. As the MPP prepares for his April 25 presidential and parliamentary primaries, former President John Ejekun Kufuor has urged executives of the party to provide a level playing field for all aspirants. In his view, ensuring free and fair primaries will be in the collective interest of the governing party. If any candidate loses, the person will know that he or she lost fairly.
There's relation to Kufuor. Let me give another angle to the Opuni story. Herald says Opuni takes perjury case to appeals court, and it says Counsel for former Chief Executive of Cocoa Board has asked the appeals court to set aside a High Court ruling that adjourned indefinitely a perjury case brought against a witness of the state. Dr. Opuni's lawyer Sam Okojo also wants the Court of Appeal to get a different judge to hear the perjury case against Dr. Yao Edu Ampoma. So that's the angle there for you. And then of course Dufour and Sons lawyers rubbish criminal charges. Don't forget that the bank collapse is also in the news. Story says the lawyers for Dr. Kwabena Dufour and his son Kwabena Dufour Jr. have rubbished the charges proffered against them by the state following the collapse of the now defunct Unibank. Dr. Dufour, founder of the bank, and his son Kwabena Dufour II, who was COO and subsequent CEO, Second deputy governor of the bank, Johnson Esiama, along with 6 other high-level officials of the farm bank, have been charged with 68 counts, including fraudulent breach of trust, money laundering, dishonestly receiving, and falsifying of accounts. But the lawyers have said the charges are misplaced.
Now, one final update. You recall the story of the boxer Patrick Alote,
Yes.
who assaulted someone, a soccer fan during the Kotoko House game. He has been suspended for 6 months by the Ghana Boxing Authority.
We'll leave it here. Thank you, Godfred. Thank you, Nathan. That was the newspaper review. Coming up next.